Hello, freedom warriors. For those of you who don't like to read, I thought I'd make a little video to summarize what this is about. But I do hope you'll read the whole thing, or at least the parts that you think matter to you. In this part of how to escape a cult that's taken over the world, I want to address our greatest weakness as a community. It's communication. We don't have effective communication. We have a bunch of groups all over the place. We don't communicate efficiently or effectively. And we're starting to have infighting, which is down to the frustration, I would say, of feeling like we haven't achieved anything from protests. That frustration is coming from a place where we have not managed our expectations of what these protests can actually achieve. You're going to get frustrated, and that frustration is going to cause us to fight with each other, and that's going to delay us and slow us down. We really need to set reasonable, achievable goals and not expect too much from these protests. But please, don't be discouraged from attending the protests, because there is a reason for them. Thankfully, I'm not the only one who has this opinion. Quite a few express the same thing, that you just don't want to feed into this energy. When you see this infighting, it's best to just not comment on it. Here I am commenting on it, but I'm not commenting on the individual situations. I'm talking broadly on this. I'm not going to name any names, any people, any organizations. Here it is. We have to move as if there's shills among us and we just don't care. The reason for that is, if we move as if there's shills among us and act as though they're a problem for us, they've already won. That's the whole point of them being there. Yes, it causes us paranoia to think that, they could cause trouble. But if you just stick to the goal, if you just maintain a realistic goal in your mind, stay on that path, they can't do anything to us. The biggest impact a shill can have is to cause us to fight among each other. The biggest impact they can have is actually divide us. Controlled opposition is a very strong word, by the way, which actually just means somebody who is playing it very safe, right? Controlled opposition doesn't necessarily mean they are working with the government. Often it just means they won't do anything that might get them into trouble with the Gardaí. So if you feel that somebody is playing it too safe for you, then maybe that's not your leader, right? Maybe you don't want them to be leading our community. But the thing is, you may not like that people follow them, but it's absolutely right for them to take the initiative to lead. We need leaders. You can choose your leaders. You can't choose everybody's leaders. But don't underestimate the power of a first follower. There's a video I have in this post. It's called How to Start a Movement. It really concludes that the follower is especially the first few followers, are extremely underrated. So if you see someone that you believe should be leading this thing, don't get frustrated at the fact that other people aren't following them. You follow them, support them, and see what happens. Our comrades are the people who have the same goal as us and are going to help us achieve it by achieving it for themselves. The first step I've written is to know your comrades. And the reason the first step is so important is because the second one depends on the first. Second step is to choose your leaders wisely. So in other words, you need to know your comrades and what you can trust them with in order to choose your leaders. So here's what I believe our protests have been doing. They've been raising awareness. Okay, we make ourselves known to people out there that are like us. I think the fact that these protests have been growing is proof of that. Second one is recruitment. We raise the spirits of all the people who are coming to these things for the first time, and the second time and third time. My spirits are rose every time. This is a spiritual war. We need our spirits to be high. So although some people are poo-pooing the whole song and the dance, there are benefits to the singing and dancing and just getting along and getting to know each other. I know that some people believe that in order for these protests to have impact, we really need to cause a little chaos. Stop the traffic, shut down some of the public transport. See, from my point of view, those things would work in a democracy. 2 years ago, that might have worked. We're not in a democracy anymore. I'm not even sure if back then it was really a democracy, but it was at least something that looked like a democracy. Realistically, when you cause that kind of chaos, it's usually because you have the numbers and it happens naturally and not by intent. If we were to do it by intent and we don't have the numbers, then it actually ends up turning people against us, which we definitely don't need, as the media does that enough for us already. If it were to happen naturally, absolutely fine. It's because we had the amount of people to do that. But it's usually not because we caused the chaos in that case. It's because we had the support of the people. So look, for anybody out there who still thinks if we cause enough chaos, these politicians are going to reverse the legislation, I'm sorry, but you still have some faith in a broken system. You have to be aware of that. There was probably 10,000 people standing outside screaming while they signed in that legislation. They're not listening to us. They're not scared to lose our vote. Everything has changed. This is not the purpose of the protests. If that discourages you from going to the protests, I hope it doesn't, but I hope you'll still go to the gatherings, because it's really, really important that we connect and network. Don't expect other people to save us. It's going to be us. It's going to be us, and we need to put our heads together to do it. So the first two reasons I listed were awareness, making ourselves known to people out there who are like us, and recruitment, raising the spirits of the people who come in so that they come again and again. And the third then is community. Community is key to this fifth step in my blog solution. We need to build a network for supporting each other during the challenging times ahead. There are certain things we cannot stop happening. The inflation is already happening. They're feeling it very much in the US already. If that turns into hyperinflation, you want to have already started your garden. We're not all going to be instantly skilled gardeners. We're going to have to learn from each other. Plenty of other things that become extremely difficult to buy during hyperinflation would be clothes. So we're going to need to trade skills. And also there might be a need for some barter. Personally, I would be using cryptocurrency. Not everybody knows enough about cryptocurrency to trade in it though, but that will be part of this blog. That was a little spoiler for watching my video.